Season 5, episode 11 of Next Level Chef has ended, but we are just getting started. Welcome to the official, unofficial Next Level Chef podcast.
I became an artist, and thank God I did, because we are the only profession that celebrates what it means to live a life.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever this podcast may find you. I hope that it finds you in great spirits. Welcome, friend, and welcome back if you are new. My name is Honest Am, and this here is the Dear Showrunners podcast, with the podcast that is all about TV, and just a little bit of life. And this season, we are covering Next Level Chef, where our contestants have a chance to win a $250,000 prize and a year-long mentorship with three amazing mentors. Before I introduce our judges, I want to just do a little housekeeping. If you love what you hear here, please make sure that you are subscribed and make sure that you rate the podcast 5 stars only. This helps other people be able to find the content. It helps us rise up in those Apple charts. And you never know, it may get Chef Ramsay, Chef Naisha Arrington, or even Chef Blade's attention. So please, if you love this podcast, go ahead and rate it, subscribe to it, and maybe take it the extra step and share it to your favorite social media timeline. You never know who may be looking for this type of content. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get into it. You all know all about our 3 wonderful judges. These people don't need any introduction, but I am going to introduce them anyway. We have Chef Naisha Arrington from California. We have Chef Gordon Ramsay from, where the hell is he from? That's a really good question. And then last but not least, we have Richard Blaze. Also, where the hell is he from? I don't know where none of these, I only know where Naisha's from. Yeah, Naisha rep Cali, but I don't know. Is he from London? Is that where? I have no idea. We're getting off topic. This episode, what really came to me is a age-old song from, some call him the King of Pop. I'm talking about the man in the mirror. This episode is all about the in-season tournament, and even though it is about our chefs competing with each other, we will see that their competition is not the chefs that are in the kitchen with them, but the chef that is staring back in the mirror, okay? Sometimes it becomes a competition against you versus you, and honestly, those are the best ones to have. So let's go ahead and get into it. We knew last episode that we were getting rid of this. And now we are going to get into the individual climb. Now, I will say, I love this idea of the in-season tournament. I do not remember us doing it last year. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I really feel like before, in the years prior, it was more so a consensus among the judges or casting or whoever come up with that. But I really love this idea of putting all the chefs on an equal playing field and just being like, hey, you got to get it where you live, and whatever level that you come out of or you rise from, that is the level that you will be starting your individual climb from. So I absolutely love this in-season tournament. I told you we need to keep an eye out on whether Andy will be able to keep her pen. And we see right before they was about to start the platform grab, that Chef Lay said, Andy, baby girl, I'm going to go ahead and need that pen because you will be up for elimination. So Andy, the pen is no longer in play, and now we are starting our individual climbs to the top. We are in the end game, baby. Top 7. Who is going to be our next level chef? Let's see. So as we get into our in-season tournament, at the top level, this is all about the top level proteins, the best of the best. And they just have to make a next level dish. And so we got Connor grabbing a beautiful Wagyu steak. Cole jumped up for these scallops. Christian had a beautiful veal. Daniela had a John Dory. And she was like, I did not know who he was. And I was like, John Dory, isn't that fish from Finding Nemo? Comment if you're a real one that you know. Jared had some red prawns. Darian had a lobster. Gabrielle, perfect grab. My girl, we're going to talk about her. She grabbed some toro. Never heard of it before, but it looks pretty good. And then Andy had a duck that she never cooked before. But of course, we're in a competition, so we're gonna push ourselves. And so, as Andy is doing her cook, she's worried about getting the right temperature. She actually spent a lot of time on her duck, but she spent so much time on her duck that she kind of forgot about her cherry glaze stuck on top of that duck, and she paired it with a beautiful puree, which Naisha said was textbook puree. Even though Andy cooks very panicky and like she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so worried. I don't know." Andy is a very smart chef, and we're starting to see that she's somebody that we have to pay attention to. Next up, I want to talk about Cole. Cole grabbed for those scallops, but then that's all she really had. I think she got some scallop and she got some leek. She really didn't have a good grab. On the second watch, I watched how Cole started at one end of the platform and then kind of tried to skirt away. I know because she's so small and people are probably like just grabbing over her. I just wish she would stay planted in place because it always seems like when she tried to go around and get to the other side, she never has a good grab. Unfortunately, because Cole didn't have a good grab, and so talking to Chef Blaze, she decided to do leeks a couple of ways. I think she did leeks 2 or 3 different ways, along with the scallops. A beautiful, simple dish, but she was just really, really in her head because she was really mad at herself. She's like, I know I can do better than this. As the mentors were debating, everybody was like, basically like, "Oh, you did great, you did fine." And she's like, I'm just really, really hard on myself. For Gabriella, she grabbed some toro. And she said that toro is a very premium fish. I think it's kind of up there with tuna. It cannot be overcooked. If it is overcooked, it's not going to do very well. We had Chef Ramsay and Naisha watching the cook. As Gabriella is cooking, she sesame seed the toro and she's putting it in her she's putting it on the pan to like kind of pan sear it. And she's like, I could just feel Chef Ramsay looking at me being like, don't mess up that toro. And literally Chef Ramsay was looking, you can see him like super focused on the TV. Like he was really like Gabriella could feel his gaze through the TV screen. And then one more person that I want to talk about on this level is actually 2 more people I want to talk about this level is Daniela. Where she kind of messed up is she was gonna do a puree and she's like, if I tell Gordon Ramsay this is puree, he's gonna like, what a shame. I can never do his accent. But because her puree was kind of like a puree and a mash, that's what kind of messed her up a little bit. Another thing that the chefs were really worried about is she crusted that John Dory, and Gordon and Aisha were in a suite like, no, no, don't do that. What are you doing? But he said it actually turned out pretty tasty for her. The one thing that we do need to understand about the tournament, they first start in the top level kitchen, and they're going to get 30 minutes to make their dish. When they get into the middle level kitchen, they have 25 minutes to do their dish. And the bottom level is going to be our elimination challenge. And that's where they only get 20 minutes. And so, of course, if you're anybody, you want to try to get off at that top round because you're going to have the most time. And so when we get to the mentor debate on the top level, some of their standouts was Andy. Another one of their stands out was Gabriella, Gordon, and I want to say Richard. They really like cold dish. They said it was simple and that when you are in this type of round, this intense round, they're like, don't you want to just have a simple dish so you can just get in and out? But then Naisha said that it was missing just one element. Another dish that they really didn't care for too much is that Cole, he did this beautiful Wagyu steak and then he paired it with pasta. It really didn't make any sense. And even when Richard was talking to him about it, he was just like, I mean, you have a beautiful pasta dish and then you have a steak. Like the dishes they don't really go together. And Connor was never able to bring them together. And then the last thing of note is Darian. When he made his lobster, he did it with a couscous and I want to say some apricot it was something like the bed for the lobster. And he didn't really have a lot of lobster, but he had a lot of that bed. And Naisha said the portions were off just a little bit. And so when it came time to say who is going to be at the top level kitchen, who's going to start their climb at the top, we have Andy and Gabriella. Gabriella, she actually just had like a perfect grab. She grabbed all Japanese ingredients and just really built her dish from the platform and then bringing it all the way to that judges debate. I mean, really, really smart. I will say I didn't know about Gabby in the beginning of this competition. She's falling on the floor. She's saying Cole cut her and didn't cut her. All of this stuff was happening. But throughout this competition, especially that last win she pulled off for her team, Gabby and Andy are definitely somebody that we have to pay attention to. Andy and Gabby are the 2 people who end up advancing this round. Gabriella had a very composed, great dish that Chef Blay said it looked like she went shopping in the Japanese grocery mart, and then Andy dish honestly was the prettiest dish that was up there. So hands down, those are the 2 that she won. I would have loved for Cole to kinda get out, but I think because she didn't get out, she was in her head, and so we're heading down to the middle level kitchen, with a little bit of a frantic Cole, which is never a good thing, right? We never wanna see Cole in a panic state. And so now we're in the middle level kitchen where our chefs have 25 minutes to take average ingredients and make it into a next level dish. They have Naisha here. And one thing that Naisha said that I think we should all use, life advice, is to turn your emotions into fuel. Poe was a little emotional, and Naisha was just like, take that emotion and really funnel it into your dish. And so on the middle level kitchen, we have Christian. Oh, I didn't talk about Christian. Christian, please forgive me. But Christian be doing so good. But the problem with Christian dish on the top level with the veal, he said that that dish was a homage to his wife. And the problem was the judges said that he had like 3 dishes in one. And they were just like, he needs to just learn how to edit his dishes just a little bit better. And so when we go into this middle level kitchen, we have Danielle and Christian basically fighting over a chicken breast. I don't know why Daniela is always fighting somebody for a damn protein. Like, girl, you are a next level chef, not WWE. But Christian ends up taking it, leaving Danielle with a swordfish. Jared, he grabbed a skirt steak and some pasta, which I'm like, why did you not pay attention to other on that other round? O'Connor had got some salmon, and then Darian got some cod, and then Cole got some pork and some bow buns. And so as we're in this middle level cook with Aisha, she's talking to Darian, and Darian says that he is from a family of 23 people, very, very humble beginnings. His mom had just always told him beautiful life advice, and to do what you can with what you have. That's just something that we could all just take with us. So often we don't start working towards our project or working even towards our dream because we're like, oh, I need a camera when you have your iPhone, or oh, I don't know how to do it when you can go on YouTube University. Like, you just have to, if you really care about something, you will start where you are, and just allow the pieces to fall in place. And I don't want to always use myself as an example, but that really is what this podcast is. I'm starting with what I have. I bought a mic from Amazon. I already had my laptop, got a little Ring camera. You could start your podcast with less than $100. So it really is about how bad do you want it versus if you have the resources or the tools to do it. And so Christian, this time around, he is making this chicken dish, and he's really going to listen to the mentors and learn how to edit himself. Connor is making this salmon with this apricot chutney, which he said his mom makes this every holiday season, and she's the goat for it. And then Darian, he had this beautiful cod dish. I mean, honestly, hands down, the best dish that we've ever seen. Darian know how to make some fish. Like, that is one thing. I wonder if that's like his specialty in his restaurant. But Darian made this beautiful cod dish that was just literally, Gordon said that it was glistening, had some roasted corn on top. It was just so pretty. Like, it was just honestly his prettiest dish that he presented. Same thing with Christian, the most simplistic dish that he has put forward. And then Cole, like, she put together a beautiful pork bow buns, but they said that she forgot a sauce. Last night, I just went to a restaurant. It's like a Asian black infused restaurant in downtown Detroit, and they had a short rib bow bun, and it was so, and it did not have a sauce. But I also wonder because our bow bun had some color to it, so maybe they, I don't know, pan fried it, or I don't know what they did, but it look like it may have been grilled a little bit before they put the short rib in it, but it didn't need a sauce. So I'm like, Nicole really needs to go to the bottom for a sauce. Like, this is where we're gonna fight. This is where I feel like the judges start showing a little bit of favoritism. And so we get to the middle level kitchen. And the big thing about Daniela is she's worried about the swordfish, and if she's going to be able to cook it all the way through. I told y'all about Jared not really listening to the feedback from the previous competition. And then I told y'all Cole, she forgot about that sauce. And so when we get to the judges' debate, the dishes that they absolutely love was Christians. They love Darian's and Blaze didn't really care for Connor dish because he thought it was too sweet, but Ramsey said that he thought it was pretty good. Advancing out of the middle level kitchen, it was Christian and Darian, and then in the very last hour they gave it to they gave it to Connor. I first personally, y'all know I love Connor. And we know Connor can cook. But this was the worst dish that Connor has pushed out. It was not pretty. It looked all one color. It wasn't the best dish that he's ever created. I know he was, shouting out his mama chutney, but visually, it was not the prettiest dish that Connor has put forth. And I just felt like that last spot should have went to Cole because presentation wise, Cole dish looked way better than Connor's. It looks good. And you mean to tell me y'all just told her she had to go to the bottom because of a goddamn sauce? Like that's crazy to me. That doesn't feel fair, especially when one of the judges is eating a dish and saying that it's reed sweet. I'm sorry. Because I just remember that Naisha said that Cole pork was dry as well. So I will walk that back. It wasn't completely because of the sauce. She did say that that pork was dry as well. So we have to go down to the bottom level kitchen. What I love, something that Jared says, one thing that he learned about football is that you brush off the last play and that you keep moving forward. And so now we're at the basement and we're elevating everyday ingredients. And so when we get to the basement, we have a cod head that Jared's end up picking up. Cole gets some frog legs and Daniela do some chicken carcass. And so as we are in our home stretch, Cole was really down on herself before she started to cook. But then when she started cooking, you could just see the joy and the life coming back to her. And her and Chef Ramsay were bonding over how much they love frog legs and how it's kind of like swampy chicken. And so she made frog legs with cheesy grits, with a beautiful tomato base on top. I low key am going to try to recreate this dish that Dayella made, chicken with a green sauce and then rice as well. And then we had Jared did a pasta again, back to back pastas with the cod cheeks. If I was Jared, I would have went ahead and just made like a po' boy because there was buns sitting up there as well. I don't know why he did another pasta dish. But when we get down to the mentor debate, who end up advancing is Daniela and Cole, causing for us to say goodbye to Jared. I'm sorry, my note says Daniela looks like a toddler after school. Don't y'all have y'all ever seen them pictures of what they say before and after your kid go to school? We have to do like a before and after Daniela cooks. Because like before she cooks, her hair is pulled back. By the end of it, her hair is all over the place. Daniela looks like she went through it this round. And so we have starting our individual climbs. We have Andy and Gabrielle who are going to be starting in the top level kitchen. In the middle level kitchen, we're going to have Christian, Cole, and Darian. And starting their climb at the bottom is Daniela and Cole. And honestly, I don't care because guess what? When you start from the bottom, you can't do nothing but go what? Up, baby. Up, up, up. Final thoughts. Our life advice this week is even in the competition, you are your only competition. Okay? And that applies in competition and in life. Matter of fact, I was just journaling about this morning. But so often we are comparing ourselves and competing with people, especially our peers or people that we graduate with. So often we're comparing ourselves with people who are not even in our fields. We're comparing ourselves to people who have not walked a day in our shoes. And we're comparing ourselves with people who do not have the skills that we have. And so our life advice is whether you are in a competition or whether you are in life, stop competing. The only competition that you have is the man in the mirror, and it is you versus you. And this is really highlighted in Cole as they were doing the elimination challenge. And Connor was like, Cole's a beast, but when she is not in a good headspace, it really affects her. And we saw that. Like, this is our second time of us seeing, like, when things do not go her way the first time around, she gets a little frazzled and she can get in her mind a little bit. But what I love is every single time that happens, she doesn't stay there. She does that mental agility to pull herself out of the pit, to pull herself out of that spiral so that she can save herself and live another day in its competition. And I think that we can learn more from that than from Gabby and from Andy, who just automatically go ahead and exceed. Because the thing about life is so many of us are going to be like Cole. So many of us are going to be in our head. We're going to be second guessing ourselves. We're going to be doubting ourselves. We're going to be wondering if we can make it. And if you you keep staying in that spiral, if you keep doubting yourself, you keep comparing yourself, you keep competing with people who are not even in your lane, you're never going to win. You're never going to be able to rise to the top. But if you can see that happening, if you can pay attention to being like, oh shit, I'm comparing, I'm competing, and stop yourself right in the middle of it and pull yourself out the spiral and remind yourself that the only person that you have to compete with is the one that you see every day in the mirror, then you can stay focused on the prize, stay focused on where you're going, and stay in your lane. One of my favorite quotes from my favorite documentary of all times is from Jimmy Iovine. And he talked about when racehorses and why it is so important for horses to have tunnel vision, because they don't need to look right to left. They just need to go forward and to run their own race. And that's what we have to do in life as well in competitions. We have to face forward. We have to get tunnel vision. Don't worry about what other people are doing. And that's what we were able to see from Cole. I really think like because she didn't get that good grab in the first round, and even though she was trying to pivot and she was still trying to make it work, and then because she wasn't able to advance, I think she just started getting into her head. By the second round, she's not really thinking clearly. She's cooking in survival mode versus thriving mode. And then by the time she get down to that bottom level kitchen, which her like, okay, look, this is make or break. Even though she made me nervous, let's be real. At no point did I ever think Cole was leaving. But she definitely like put on a good show. And I kind of feel like that's why they did it. Cause they're like, this gonna be good. This gonna make a good episode for her. But you could definitely tell like Gordon loves all of his girls. But him and Cole, there's something vibing between the two that I just really love. But our life advice come from Cole. Even when you are in a competition, you are your only competition. And the advice is to have tunnel vision. Get tunnel vision. Stop worrying about what anybody else is doing and just focus and stay in your lane. I will say the people that excel in this competition are people who are able to keep it simple, play to their strengths, and B, who are people who are able to listen and take advice. Christian was able to listen to Chef Ramsay about editing, actually taking this mentor advice and applying it to your dish. That is how you really truly excel in this competition. And then we also see how Jared ended up, falling by the wayside because he didn't learn from Connor mistakes, which is we learned from the very, very first round. Steak and pasta does not go together. I don't understand why he turned around and did it again. And then he did another pasta dish. So, sometimes you have to listen, not just to the advice that you're getting, but listen to everybody, because that advice that another person could be getting, you can apply to your situation. But one thing that I actually really loved about Jared and the way that he left is just by saying he wanted his kids to know that you can never box him in. He's an ex NFL player, an ex lunch lady, and now he's leaving this competition as a chef. And he said he's had so many things that he have done and felt like they were, once in a lifetime things. And now this is another situation that he was able to participate in. And I just love how he left with a smile on his face. I really did not expect Jared to go this far. And so he got to pat himself on the back because he fucking did that. So shout out to you, Jared. I'm so excited to see where you go. I want to have some of your spaghetti and meatballs. I'm just in Detroit. So if you're going to have a pop-up, let me know. And me and Cuddy will go ahead and do a road trip right on down to Ohio to participate. Mentor beef. No mentor beef to really report on. I did love how when Gordon girls were able to take that win at the top, Gordon was like he gave them a high five. Like I know secretly he's like, I know I'm winning this season. But yeah, shout out to Gordon Ramsay. Predictions. Oh, I was going to say, because I was listening to the last week episode, and I was going to say, I apologize, Christian. Like, I really took you out of the running. But I don't know. Like, Andy is really, she's somebody we got to pay attention to. And now we also got to pay attention to Gabrielle. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I do still feel like Cole is going to win the whole competition. Sue me, kill me, but I really do feel like Cole is going to win this whole thing. But I'm thinking, can I just say my top four? I don't want to say my top three anymore because now I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. But my top four, is of course Connor, Annie, Christian, Cole. Oh my God. It's about to be such a tough end game because also I'm saying that and Darian will pull out a piece of fish and like grill it to perfection. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be so hard. I really don't know who's going to win, but I just have to let Christian know, like, I know I forgot about you last week, but you're not somebody to forget about. I'm done. You know what? I'm going to stop doing predictions because they're just going to get me in trouble. Next episode, now our chefs are shining their individual climbs and we heard you got to use your noodle. So I guess it's going to be maybe a noodle challenge. Maybe we bringing back that ramen challenge from last year. Did we already do a ramen challenge this year? It'll be interesting. We are officially in our top 7. So it's going to be interesting to see who we're going to lose next. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I don't know what's going to happen, but we have made it to the end of the episode. You already know what I'm going to say. Dream them dreams. Never let the internet rush you and never, ever, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. Your host, Honest Am, of the Dear Showrunners podcast, as well as Honestly Sis the News. Honestly Sis, I just released some new letters and I'm also going to release a short story soon. So if you love what you hear here, please make sure that you go check out www.honestlysis.com. Now, thank you, friend, for helping my dreams come true. Now, get your ass out there and work on your own. Finish that book, build that portfolio, go buy that house, do whatever you need to do, and I will meet you at the top, friend, or in the next level. Bye-bye.